Hi, and welcome to our annual Synergy Conference. My name is Emmy, and I'm a senior trainer at Thomson Reuters. In this training session, you will learn about the features that will help you get the most out of Onvio documents. Throughout the presentation, I will share best practices to get you ready for the upcoming tax season with Onvio Firm Management. The topics that we're going to discuss today will allow you to identify 3 different types of customers. The first type of customers are those who are tech savvy. They're customers who are comfortable with new technology. These customers could fully benefit from using our secure portal called Onvio Client Center in order to upload their tax documents. The second type of customers are those with limited computer skills. These clients could also benefit from using our online portal, which is Onvio Client Center, but just know that there is a feature in Onvio that will allow you to exchange documents by email with those clients. And you probably have customers who are not tech savvy. These customers actually come to your office every year in order to bring their tax slips. There are advantages of adding those clients into Onvio, and we will look at them together. In order to target those 3 different types of customers, we're going to look at how to customize the notifications. I'm also going to show you how to set up folder and request templates. I will also show you how you could share documents with your clients through the portal and by email. We're going to look at some of the scanning features that are available in Onvio Firm Management, and I will also cover the features in our integration with our tax software called DTMax T1. So without further ado, let's look at Onvio Firm Management. So we're currently in Onvio Firm Management on the home dashboard, and the first thing we're going to look at is how to customize the notifications that are sent out to our clients. Notifications are basically emails that are sent out from Onvio. So just to give you an example, when you add a new client in Onvio Firm Management, and you activate their access to the online portal called Onvio Client Center, the client will automatically receive a notification, which is again an email that will allow them to register to the online portal. In order to customize the notifications that are sent out to our clients, we're going to go to the Setup menu. And in the Setup menu, we're going to click on Notifications. Once you're in the notification screen, you're going to click on the second tab, which is the Wording tab. On the Wording tab for English Canada, you're going to see a section called User Activation. If you click on User Activation, you're going to see the email that is sent out to clients so that they could register their Onvio Client Center account. So again, here under User Activation, simply click on Client Center Registration in order to see the body of the email that is sent out to the clients. What we want to do here is add as much information as possible so that the client knows exactly what is Onvio, where this email is coming from, or who sent that email. And we also want to make sure that the client doesn't delete the email, doesn't send it to the spam section of their mailbox, or doesn't call the office in order to get more information about Onvio Client Center. So the first thing we're going to do here is actually insert an image of our logo. You could click on this icon here in order to insert an image. And you could easily drag and drop the image of your logo in Onvio, or if you double click on this field here, it will open up your Windows Explorer where you can actually locate the picture or the image and insert the image in the body of the message. So here, I'm just going to drag and drop the image in the email. So we have it here, and I could even change the alignment of the image by clicking on this icon. So I can place the logo on the far right corner, keep it in the middle, or put it on the left-hand side of the screen. Okay, so you have several options here. Another thing I would recommend that you do here is if you're several users that's going to be using Onvio and you don't want your name to be shown on the email that is sent out to clients, I would recommend deleting the variables sender's first name and sender's last name. So here what we want to do, we only want to keep the firm name and the rest of the text. So these variables will be completed automatically by Onvio once the email is sent out to the client. So here we're going to have the client's first name and last name. Then we're going to have the name of our firm, invites you to register your Onvio Client Center account. Here you can actually add more text in order to inform your clients of what is Onvio, what the portal is going to be used for. You could tell them that it's a secure portal that will allow them to exchange documents, upload their tax documents, etc. So you can add all the information there. What I would also recommend that you do is that you actually share the tutorials that we have created for your clients. So we created 3 tutorials that will allow your clients to register to Onvio Client Center. There's also an overview of the portal. There's another video that will show them how to sign PDF documents electronically. So how to use the e-signature feature in Onvio. And there's a third video that will show them how to use the Client Center mobile application. So the link to those 3 videos are actually available in the PowerPoint of this presentation. So you could go ahead and just copy those videos and add them into the Onvio registration email. Okay, so we have them right here. So again, here the goal is to add as much information as possible so that you don't waste your time speaking to the clients and explaining them how to use the portal. And also we want to avoid the clients to delete the email or to send the email into their spam mailbox. Okay, so we really want to avoid this. Once you're done customizing the Client Center registration email, you could simply scroll down and click on Save. Right beside the Save icon, you have an option to send yourself a test. So if you want to see the email before sending it out to your clients, you could just click on Send Test and you're able to view the email. Another thing we're going to look at here in the client notification screen are notification that we're going to receive and our clients are going to receive once we add new files in Onvio. So here in the section called Documents, you have the section here called Staff or Client Adds Files. So here, every time a staff member adds a file to Onvio, the client will receive a notification by email. For the firm, every time a client adds documents into their portal, the firm will also receive notifications by email. For the firm, you have the option to receive notifications within Onvio. So those notifications will be available on the far right corner on your profile. So in order to access the profile, you just need to click on the circle with your two initials. So if you click on the circle with your initials, you're going to see a tab here called Notifications. And you're going to see all the notifications that are sent out from Onvio. So again, when a client uploads the document into their portal, you're going to be notified through this section here if you have this option here activated. Okay, so you have it here. At the bottom, you're able to receive notification through your mobile. And what's really important here is that you could also receive notification by email. If during the season you feel that you're receiving way too many emails or notifications from Onvio, you can actually change the frequency of those emails. So by selecting Daily Digest, Onvio will only send you a summary the next day to let you know all of the documents that were uploaded in the portal by your clients. This feature is also for your clients, so your clients will only receive a notification the next day if the firm or a staff member has uploaded a document into the client's document folder. So usually that summary is sent out to the staff and to the client the next day around 5 a.m. And again, it's just a summary to list all of the documents that were uploaded in Onvio. If there was no documents that were uploaded, you won't receive a summary. So that's for the notification frequency. So once you're done here, again, you have to scroll down and you're going to have to click on Save. So now that we completed with the notification, we're going to look at how to set up folder requests in Onvio. So in order to set up folder requests, we're going to go to the Setup menu and we're going to click on Folder Templates. So again, if you're in the Setup menu, just click on Folder Templates. And folder templates are basically folders that you wish to add to multiple clients. In the PowerPoint presentation of this session, you actually have two examples of folder structures that you could set up in Onvio. So the first example is just to create a folder for each year. So here, I just have an example here. So that will be the folder for X year. And once you go inside the folder, you will have categories. So the categories could be different services that you offer to your clients, or it could just be, for example, source documents, payroll reports. If you want a folder where you could store all of their financial statements or tax notice. So you could create those subfolders in folder templates. By creating the folder template, you could then apply them or assign them to multiple clients in Onvio. So that's one structure that you could create. The second structure is that you could start with the category and then create a subfolder for each year. So as you can see here, I have a permanent folder, which I called source documents. And once I go inside that folder, I could see subfolders for each year. What we're going to do today is we're going to create a folder structure where we're going to assign that folder or share that folder to our clients. So here, what we want to do is we're going to create a new template. So we're going to click on New Template. And the name of that new template, For this example, I'm just going to call it client documents, but you could also call it client upload or whatever comes to mind here. But here I'm just going to call it client documents. So it's going to be a folder that's going to be shared with our client. And once it's shared with the client, they could go inside their Onvio Client Center account in order to upload documents into that folder. So here I'm going to click on Save. And we have our first folder, or the primary folder here, called Client Documents. We're going to click on the name of the document in order to create subfolders. So once you're in the folder called Client Documents, you're going to click on New in order to add another folder. And that second folder, the first one, I'm going to call it Welcome to Onvio. So you could create a folder where you could add instructions on how to use the client portal. Client Center. So in that first folder, you can actually go in the folder in order to upload a document. It could be a Word document or a PDF document that you wish to share with all of your clients. So it can be instructions on how to use the portal, for example. Here, I'm going to add another subfolder called Tax Questionnaire. So every year, I create a fillable PDF that I want my clients to fill out in order to get more information from them. I want to see if they moved, if they have new dependents, if their status changed. So here, I'm just going to create a folder called Tax Questionnaire. And once I assign this folder to a client, I could upload the tax questionnaire in that folder so that they can complete the document in their Onvio Client Center. We're going to continue here. We're going to add another subfolder. I'm going to call it Documents to Sign. So we're going to look at the integration between Onvio and DT Max. So there is an e-signature feature in DT Max where you could actually request your clients to sign certain documents. For all of the other documents, you're going to have to save them as a PDF document in Onvio and send an e-signature request from Onvio. So all of those PDF documents, we're going to save it into that folder. So if you have an engagement letter that you want your clients to sign, or again, any type of documents or contract you want them to sign, you would need to save the document in that folder and send an e-signature request from Onvio. And sorry, I'm just going to go back. I forgot. We're going to create a last folder here. Really important. It's going to be called Tax Slips. Okay, it's the folder where our clients will be able to upload all of their tax documents for the current tax year. So here I'm going to go back to folder template. And we have our folder that we just created together called Client Documents. And the advantage here in folder templates is that you can actually set up this folder for all of your new clients. So what do I mean by that is in Onvio, there's actually preferences that you could set up so that every time you add a new client in Onvio, they will automatically receive this folder. So here, I'm just going to tick the box beside the folder. I'm going to go to Manage, and I'm going to click on Properties. So here again, I want to make sure that all of my new clients get this folder called Client Documents. So I want this folder to be assigned to them. So here, I'm just going to tick the box right beside the folder. I'm going to go to Manage and click on Properties. Here we have the name of the folder, the destination folder name. So we're going to keep it as it is. And what's really important here is that we need to specify which entity type that we want to assign this folder to. So for this example, I'm only going to assign them to clients whose entity is individual. So all of my T1 clients will automatically receive this folder or will be assigned this folder. So here I'm going to go ahead and click on save. And we're done creating folder templates for new clients. So here we're going to do a little workflow using Onvio for management. So what I want you to keep in mind here is that we're going to create a workflow for clients who are tech savvy. So the goal here is to go inside DT Max T1. We're going to add a new client to Onvio, and we're going to activate their access to our online portal. We're then going to share documents, and we're also going to send an e-signature request online through those tech-savvy clients. So here, let me open up DT Max T1. I'm currently in the new tax year for 2023. Okay, so this is the planner version of DT Max T1 2023. And on the client list, I'm able to add a new client to Onvio simply by right-clicking with my mouse on the client's name. So here I have my client, Donna. So here I could just right-click with my mouse on her name, and I'm able to select the option, Add this client to Onvio. Once you click on Add this client to Onvio, it's going to populate a new window. And the first thing you have to do here is that you have to add a Onvio client ID. So what we recommend is that you add the DT Max client number. So you can see that the DT Max client number is number 15, but before you add the DT Max client number, you should add the letter P before the client number. And the reason why is because if you're using DT Max T2 or T3, you might have a client that has the same client number. So if you add that client, the T2 client or the T3 client in Onvio, you might come across some issues. Okay, so you might have an error message preventing you from adding those T2 or T3 clients to Onvio for management. So by adding a letter here, such as the letter P for personal, followed by the DT Max client number, I know that this client is from my T1 database in DT Max. If I'm in DT Max T2, I would add C for corporation, followed by the DT Max client number. And if I'm in T3 for trust, I would simply add T for trust, following the DT Max client number. So again, here we have P for personal, followed by the DT Max client number for the Onvio client ID. And my client has an email address on file. So since he has an email address on file, I can activate their access to our online portal called Onvio Client Center. So as soon as I click on create, my client will receive a notification to register to the online portal. Okay, so I get this message because all my clients have the same SIN number. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed by adding this client to Onvio. So here I can see that my client was successfully added to Onvio, and we were able to activate their access to the online portal called Client Center. So now let's look at Onvio, where we're going to share a folder with our clients so that they can upload their tax documents. So here, I'm just going to go back to Onvio for management. And we're going to click on the Documents menu. And right underneath Documents, you're going to see the tab called Client Documents. There's a drop-down menu, and we're going to just type in P15. And we have our client here, Donna. So that was the client that was added from DTMax T1. And we could also see that 2 folders were assigned to our client from our folder templates. Okay, so we have it here. Now, in order to share the folder called tax slip, I'm just going to go up one level here. I want to share actually the entire folder with my client. So here, I'm just going to tick the box beside the icon of the folder. I'm going to go to Manage, and I'm going to select the option Share Folder. So here, I want to make sure that my client has access to the main folder as well as the subfolders. So here, I'm in the Manage menu. I'm going to click on Share Folder. I'm going to select a contact. So here, if you click on Select a Contact, it's going to populate a drop-down menu, and you're going to select the name of the client. So you have it here. You could also assign share folder roles for your client. So by default, the system will add the client as a reviewer. A reviewer is a person that could actually view all of the documents and folders that were shared in their portal. What we want here is that we want our client Donna to be able to contribute to the folders that were shared. In other words, we want her to be able to add new documents into those folders. So for that, we're going to select the option here called Contributor. With this option, again, Donna will be able to add new documents into the folder. She could view them, she could share them, she could save them on her PDF. So if we have a document for her, we could save it there, and she will be able to save it on her PC. So she could save it as a PDF on her document, on her computer. The one thing that she won't be able to do is that she won't be able to delete any documents that were sent from the firm. And the last sharing role here called owner, that person could do whatever they want with the documents that are in the folder. So they could delete the documents, share them, add more. They have total control of all of the folders that were shared with them. So here we're going to keep it as contributor, and we're going to apply to subfolders. So this is really important. We want to make sure that the client is able to view all of the subfolders that were shared. And then we're going to click on Save. So when you see this little icon, it means that the folder was shared with the client. So as soon as the client logs into their Onvio Client Center account, they will be able to view this folder called Client Documents. Okay, and then they will be able to upload their tax slip into this folder. So here, let's assume that the client uploaded all of their tax slip and I'm able to produce their tax return. So here, I'm just going to go inside DTMax T1. Just know that if you're using Onvio Tax, you will be able to create a project in order to complete their tax return with Onvio Tax. Okay, so Onvio Tax is fully integrated in Onvio for management. So again, once you receive all of their slips and forms from the client, you could go ahead, create a project, and complete their tax return in Onvio. If you don't have Onvio Tax, we're going to go inside DTMax. So if you're a DTMax client, we're going to come here. We're going to go to the tax return tab. And here we have Donna's tax return. Okay, it's not the official return. But here we have a copy of the tax return. And from DTMax, you're able to send a copy of the return to the client or to the client's portal. And you're also able to send e-signature requests. So if you want your clients to sign the T183 before you share the tax return, you would simply click on this icon here. So again, in DT Max, in the tax return tab, there's an icon called Request e-signature. And if you click on this icon, you're able to send to the client the T183. You have other options here too. You have the federal authorization form in order to represent the client. You have the T1135, the TP1000, which is the Quebec equivalent of the T183. You have the MR69, which is the Quebec authorization form in order to represent the client. And again, you have another Quebec form here called TP274. So just keep in mind that you could only send the forms that are active or visible inside the client's return. If the client doesn't have those forms, the information here will be blank or grayed out. So we're going to send the T183 to our client. So here we're just going to click on Send Update. We're going to have a confirmation that the information was sent successfully to our client. And just know that your client also received a confirmation by email. So the client will be able to complete this request in their online portal. And as soon as they complete the e-signature, you're going to receive a notification by email to let them know that it was done by the client. Once you get that notification by email that the e-signature was completed by the client, you need to come back in DT Max T1, come back to the Request e-signature window, and click on Send Update. So again, once you get that confirmation, you need to come back in Onvio, click on Send Update in order to change the status of the form that was sent to the client. You're also going to receive a PDF copy here in DT Max of the signed document. So that's for the e-signature and DT Max T1. Now, just to show you that in DT Max, you could also print a copy of the tax return and send it directly to the client. So here I'm going to use this icon, which is Save Email PDF File. And by clicking on this icon, I'm able to send a PDF copy to Onvio Client Center. So I'm just going to tick this box and change the name here. And I'm also able to choose the copy that I wish to send to the client. So this is really important. Once you have the full version of DT Max T1, you will need to update your Forms Manager. So you have to do this every year. Once you update the Forms Manager, you have to set up the print copies for the client copy. Okay, so you have to set up your Forms Manager for the client copy, and then you will be able to send the client's copy to Onvio for management. So here I'm just going to click OK, and then we're going to get a confirmation that the document are now saved and sent to client. Okay, so they will be saved in your Onvio account and they will be sent to the client. So this procedure is ideal if you have clients that are tech savvy. So as you can see, we added the client from DT Max. We activated their access to Onvio Client Center. We then went to Onvio in order to share the folder called Client Document. And within the folder called Client Document, we had a subfolder where the client could upload their tax slip. And then we went back to DT Max in order to send an e-signature request for the authorization form. And I also showed you how to share the tax return to the client to Onvio Client Center. So now we're going to look at our second client type, which are clients who are not really tech savvy. They need a little bit more hand holding. So for those clients, I still recommend that you add them into Onvio for management, but just know that there is a tool in Onvio where you can actually send them emails. Okay, so it might be easier for those clients to simply share documents by email through Onvio for management. So here I'm going to add one of my clients to Onvio. So I have this client here, which again, I'm going to right click with my mouse in order to add this client to Onvio. There's one thing that you should know here, that you could add clients even though they don't have an email address on file. So again, from DTMax to Onvio, you can add clients that don't have email address on file. You will still be able to save them in Onvio for management. So here again, I'm going to add the client ID, P16. This client had an email address on file. It's fine. I'm going to keep it as it is. And I'm also going to activate their access to Onvio Client Center. And then I'm going to click on create. Okay, so I get the same message. I'm just going to click on yes. And here we have a confirmation that the client was created successfully. Another feature that I would like to show you is with the integration between DTMax and Onvio, you could update all of your clients' information directly in DTMax. And there's an option where you could import the new changes in Onvio. So just to give you an example, if this client has a new mailing address or if he has a new phone number, I'm able to make the changes directly in Onvio. In DTMax. So here I'm making the changes directly in DTMax, and I'm going to go back to the client list, go to the tools menu. The last option here is Onvio, and you will see the option to update Onvio client information from the current client. So with this feature, it's going to pull all of the new data that was entered in DTMax and add them into Onvio for management. Okay, so that's just a little feature here that comes with the integration between DTMax T1 and Onvio. Another thing we're going to look at here, so I'm just going to go back to the tax return, is I'm going to show you how you could print documents from DTMax into Onvio. So for example, if I have an engagement letter that I want my clients to sign, that engagement letter will need to be saved as a PDF document in Onvio so I can send an e-signature request to my client. In order to save this document to Onvio, I'm simply going to use this printer icon. So it's the printer icon with the green arrow. I'm going to click on the icon. And as you can see here on the first tab called Printer, I have Onvio as a printer. So this option comes with Onvio Link. So you have all the information about Onvio Link in the PowerPoint presentation. And Onvio Link is basically a printer driver that you can install on your local computer, and it will allow you to print from any other applications directly into Onvio. So here I could be in DTMax, but I could also be working on, I don't know, simply accounting, or I could be on an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document. And as soon as I go to the File menu and I click on Print, I will be able to choose Onvio as a printer. So as soon as you click on Print, it's going to populate a new window. And the advantage of using this feature is that it's going to allow you to choose where you want to save your file in Onvio. So here I have a drop down menu where I have the list of all of my clients. So I'm going to look for my client Noah. So as you can see here, we have our brand new client that was just added to Onvio. And we also have our folder structured or folder templates that were added to the client. So here, I'm just going to choose the folder Documents to Sign in order to save this PDF document. I'm going to call it Engagement Letter. And then I'm going to click on Save. So now let's go into Onvio. So we're back in Onvio Documents. Under the tab here, Client Document. Here, I'm going to use this search field to look up my new client, which is Noah. I have it here. And just to show you, we have the folder here called Client Documents. And if I go in the folder and in the subfolder called Documents to Sign, I have my PDF document that was printed directly from DT Max. So before we send an e-signature request to our client, we're going to do one thing is we're going to set up some request templates. So the request templates will allow you to request documents from your clients. And the advantage of using the request templates in Onvio is that you could actually send those requests by email. So here we're going to select, we're going to create a template that we wish to apply to all of our new clients. So here I'm just going to go to the setup menu in Onvio. And I'm going to click on Request Templates. Okay, so again, here at Onvio, we can have predefined templates so that when we request information from our clients, we could select one of our templates and we're going to have our request there. All the documents that we need will already be listed in the request template. So here we're going to go ahead and click on Add in order to create a new one. For the name, I just want to keep it simple. We're going to just call it New Clients. And here, I'm just going to list the documents that I need from those clients. So just to give you an example, if it's a new client, it might be useful to have their notice of assessment of the previous year. So in the section called Document Requests, I'm just going to add notice of assessment for the previous year. I'm going to click on Add. Another thing that I need are their tax slips. So here you can have a general information or just add the name tax slip. Or if you want more details, you could click on Add and then type in each slip that you believe that this client may have. So you could go ahead and type T5, add T4. Let's see here, any other slips. Okay, so you can add as much details as you want in the request templates. Here, I'm going to go ahead and click on Add. I'm also going to add medical receipts. Okay, so here I need their medical receipts. Okay, and I'm going to click on Add. Another information that I may need from my client are their RRSP contributions. So here, I'm just going to type that in the document request number 7. So again, here, anything that comes to mind, you could simply add them in the request template. Once we assign the request template to a client, we could then choose the documents that we want to keep. So here, I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to click on Save or Add on the top right corner of the screen. So we have our request template. We're going to go back to the document area. Okay. And for our client Noah, we're going to click on Client Documents. And I'm going to go in the folder called Tax Slips. Here, I'm going to go to the Manage menu, and I'm going to click on the option called Requests. So what's going to happen here is that I'm going to request documents from my client. As soon as the client sends those documents over, they will be saved in that folder, in the folder called Tax Slips. So here I'm going to click on Requests. The first thing we need to do is select a recipient. So I'm going to use the drop-down menu in order to select my client, Noah. And I could send this request via email and through client portal. So my client will need to choose if he wants to complete by email or go through his portal in order to complete this request. Then, as you can see here for the request details, we could see that the information or the documents will be saved in this folder called Tax Slips. If you made a mistake and you want to change the folder, you could just click on Browse. Here, we're going to select our request templates for new clients. And then we're going to click on Apply. And we have all of the documents here that we're requesting. Here, you could easily remove documents. So since we have tax slips, we don't need T5 or T4s. We don't need this. We're just going to keep those 4. Then what's really important is that you complete all of the fields that have an asterisk. So here, we're going to have to enter a due date. Okay, so I'm giving my client, let's say, until March 22nd. Here, if you're going to be sending out information by email to your clients and you're worried just a little bit about the security, you could add security options. So here you can actually enter a password that your client will need to enter before accessing the request. Okay, so here you could just type in the password so that, again, the client will need to enter that password in order to view the request. Just a quick note here, what's really important is that you don't type the password in the message that will be sent out to your client by email. What we recommend here is that you maybe add a note or a hint telling your client that their password may be, I don't know, their zip code or their postal code. It could be the first 2 letters of the first name and then the last 3 the last 3 digits of their postal code. So again, we recommend that you don't type in the password in the body of the message. So I'm going to continue here and I'm going to click on send. We're going to send that over to our client. Oh, I forgot a subject. Document requests. And I'm going to click on send. So that information is now sent out to our client. If you want to see if the information was really sent out to our clients, you could just go to the communication tab. In the communication tab, you will have a summary of all of the requests that were sent out to the clients. So we could see our document request is right here. We have the date that the information was sent to our client, the due date, when the request will be expired, and the progress. As soon as the request is completed by the client, you're going to get a notification by email in Onvio, and then you will see the progress here as 100%. And again, all the documents will be saved in the Client Document tab here. So that's the process in order to request documents from your clients by email. The second thing that we're going to look at here is how to request an e-signature on a PDF document. So here I'm going to go in the folder called Documents to Sign, and we have our engagement letter that needs to be signed by our client. Here I'm just going to tick the box and go to the Manage menu, and select the last option, which is approve. So again, in the manage menu, you will see the last option, which is approve. And we're currently looking at the approval request. So again, we're going to have to select our recipient, which is our client. And we have the option here to send this request via email, and we could also send the request via Onvio Client Center. This is really important. For the e-signature, it only works if it's a PDF document. So again, in order to send an e-signature request to a client, it has to be a PDF document. So here I'm just going to activate the toggle for e-signature, and I'm going to add the placeholders. So the placeholders will basically show the client where he needs to sign. So here I'm just going to take the placeholder and simply drag and drop it on the document. Okay, and if you want, you could also add the date. So here I'm going to click on save on the top right corner of the screen. And also just keep in mind that you could also add another document. So if you have several documents that you need to sign by this client, you could just click on add document. You select the PDF document, and then you could activate the toggle here for the e-signature. You also need to specify the due date. So my client has until the end of this month in order to sign this document electronically, but the request will expire a year from now. Again, since you're sending information by email, if you want to add an extra level of security, you could do that. And here you can add a password so that the client will need to enter the password in order to view the request. So here I'm going to add the subject to my message, and I'm going to click on send. And as soon as you send a document for an e-signature to a client, you're going to see a lock. Okay, you're going to see that this document is locked. And the reason why is because it contains sensitive information. So that's the reason why we have a lock. So now this document cannot be modified, and it cannot be deleted. And the last thing I would like to show you here is how you could send a document to a client by email. So in Onvio, you could upload any types of documents. So here you could click on upload. It will allow you to choose a document that is saved on your computer. So here I'm just going to grab a document that is saved on my computer, and I can actually save it directly in Onvio. And then I can actually send that document to my client by email. So this is a nice example. We have the client's tax return. I'm just going to change folder. I'm going to use this one, correspondence. So I'm going to add the tax return in the folder called correspondence. So we have it here. So I just saved this new document in Onvio. And now if I need to send this document to my client, again, I just need to tick the box right beside the document, go to manage, and you have the option here to send. Okay, so here we're going to send a copy of the tax return to our client by email. So for the first field, you're going to need to use the drop-down menu to select the client. Since we're sending the tax return, strongly suggest that you add a password to add that extra level of security. And you also need to choose or select the expiration date. After that expiration date, the client will no longer have access to that email. So if the client tries to download the tax return after December 31st, he won't be able to. You could always go back in Onvio and extend that expiration period. So here we have a copy of the tax return that was saved from DT Max. So we could see it, and it's also saved in the client document. And now I could simply click on send in order to send that information over to our client by email. So again, all the requests that were sent to our clients could be tracked through the communication tab. So here, if I click on communications, I have them all here. We have the 3 requests that were sent to Noah, and we also have their progress and their status. At any time, you could go back in to the request and you could resend the request. If your client's telling you I never received it, you could go back in, resend it to the client. You can make changes and then send it back to the client. So again, that's the process of sending documents to clients by email. So again, you might have clients that are not really tech savvy. They need a little bit of they need a little bit more hand holding. So for those clients, it might be just easier to send them all of their documents from Onvio by email. Okay, so it might be easier to do it that way for those clients. For the last type of clients, they're the ones who are not tech savvy. So for those clients, I still recommend that you add them into Onvio. It will allow you to save all of their information or all of their files in the cloud in Onvio for management. So it's ideal if you want to centralize all of your documents into one location, add the client in Onvio, and then store all of their documents in Onvio documents. You could scan all of the client's paperwork directly in Onvio. So if you have a client that comes with all of their slips and forms, you can actually scan them in Onvio. So there is an integration with the scanner. You just have to make sure that the scanner has a dynamic web Twain plugin. Okay, so in order for this to work, your scanner needs to be compatible with dynamic web Twain. So here, just to give you an example, if I want to scan a document into the folder here called source documents, we need to go inside the folder, click on new, and then you will see the option here to scan. Once you click on scan, it's going to populate this window here. So I'm just going to change the name and let's say I'm call it tax documents. So here you could change the name of the PDF that will be stored in Onvio, and you could also select your scanner. So if I have a drop down menu, here I could see my Twain software, which is a virtual scanner. And as soon as I click on start scan, okay, so I would scan the documents, I will have a preview here in Onvio. Okay, so you have it here. The advantage of using this tool is if you want to scan all of the slips and forms into one single PDF document, you could do that. So here you have the option to click on scan more. And as soon as you click on scan more, it's going to ask you, do you want to answer the next page after the first page or before? So here, I'm just going to say that the second page will be in color, and then I'm going to click on start scan. Okay, so we have him here. So just to give you another example, if the client brings you their previous year's tax return and is bringing the federal and the provincial, and you want them combined into one single PDF, you could actually use this option with the scanner. Okay, so you would scan the information in Onvio and then simply click on scan more in order to combine those PDF. And then I could click on finish upload. Okay, so just to show you what the PDF looks like, so I could click on the name of the PDF in order to open it in Onvio, and you will see the two documents. Okay, so you have them right here. So again, even though the client comes by your office every year in order to bring their slips and forms, we still suggest that you add them in Onvio in order to centralize all of your documentation. And with Onvio for Management, you're able to scan all of their documents into their folder. So this concludes today's presentation where we looked at 3 different types of clients. If you have any questions, you could come and see me at the booths. So I will be there at the team's booths to answer all of your questions in regards to Onvio for Management. I want to thank you all for participating in this training session, and I want to wish you a good afternoon or enjoy the rest of your day.